Larsson. Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! O'Reilly, how about that for a pass? Jota! How about that for a finish? That is Jota for you! In for Henrik Larsson, and Moravcik! His first goal for Celtic! Here is Shunsuke Nakamura! Exquisite!
Good evening all and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. I'm JP and joining me in this Wednesday night is my good man Mr. Ryan Clifford. Good evening mate, it's been a wee while since we last spoke, probably about half an hour ago. But no, it's been a wee while mate. I didn't manage on due to circumstances on Monday with yourself and Daniel mate. It's good to see you, how are you first and foremost, and how's your week been?
Aye, all good. Obviously, we day Sunday was good, mate. So all pretty recovered now. We're actually home early for our standards, so the hangover's not really that bad. I'm actually pretty good. So, obviously been a few days since obviously the transfer deadline and the game at the weekend, which all in all it was no great. Obviously the performance, the result was okay. Listen, I said on the pod on the Friday when we were on with Barry and Alan that you'll take a draw. You'll always go, as long as you're not getting beat. But the performance just didn't match for me, obviously, what we thought. And then you're thinking, right, but it's all right. We'll get a few bodies in the door, and shall we say it didn't happen. I know I'm laughing, but we're not really laughing. But it's what man. If you don't laugh, you'll send yourself into the Costco for more bleach, so we just need to deal with it. But no, apart from Celtic, no gains any joy now, mate. I'm all right, mate. But I hope you're well as well. And obviously there's a lot to chat about tonight, so we can fire in, mate.
Aye, thanks very much, mate. I've couldn't wait for Sunday to the night to get on here and start talking about this kind of stuff. And I've kind of been looking forward to this for the weekend. In all honesty, listening to that wee audio track at the beginning there when Larsson goes through and scores in the 6-2 game, I was just hoping it says at the end of it, Larsson fixes a board. But obviously...
Larsson fixes the telly.
Larsson fixes the telly.
The radio, innit?
I was just hoping it says Larsson fixes a board, but no, that's
and Dermot Desmond... Oh, no, I didn't do anything.
Larsson's decorated Dermot Desmond's office.
Michael Nicholson. Who's that again, actually? Michael, you've taken the full fan base away, so you have, son. You've done us all in.
Aye. We're all sitting here listening to Boy George in the crying game on repeat.
Oh, man.
But good evening to everybody as well that's joined us across the platforms. I hope you are also all well. I've not been on, so let us know what emotions you guys are going through, what's been happening with yourselves. We'll start with a few comments. We always do. G-Doc, evening all. Thomas Burns says he's not jumping up and down with joy with the sign of Ignacio. Don't know if a lot of people spoke about that. The trialist says it's a shambles. Don't know if it's a shambles. I've probably thought about me being back on the podcast. Don't know if that's what he means there. Plunge says, good evening, boys. Hail, hail. Mark McDonald, hail, hail. JP and Ryan, the chat. I thought that says the chat was poor, but obviously he's talking about a poor window, but typical from the board. Plunge says, can I just say there's been a person out there stole my name and pretending to be me? Jeez, it's bad enough one I'm only kidding, mate, honestly. But wanted to keep a wee eye. I didn't realise there was 2 McNuggets in your chat, Ryan. I've not noticed before of you, mate.
No, just the one, mate. No, I've not seen 2.
But the amount of comments that came through for him, it sounds like he's a Harlem Globetrotters, man, with the amount of many comments he puts in, man. He'll just come bouncing at you. Martin Flanagan, evening lads. Hope you are well. Shambles of a window, no real quality. If you take out Nygren and Tierney, but still confident we can win the league where the Celtic team performances need to pick up. We will come to your topics, guys. Just try to get through some of the comments. Paul Maguire, evening all. Our sponsor of the channel, Mr. Alec Beveridge, evening JP, Ryan, and all the chat. Hope you're all well.
Evening, Bev.
Doing well, big man. Doing well. And evening, guys, in the chat. Why have you stopped posting notifications on socials about the pod is on? There's not. It was on earlier on. I put it on today at the back of 3 myself. So, depending on your device, you may need to check your settings. If it's lagging, maybe, or could be that your Wi-Fi might be slower, or just depends what area you're in, I suppose. But yeah, but I personally put a notification on all the social media platforms that we currently operate on, and it was done today at the back of 3 to let everybody know that we were live tonight at 8. Norrie boy, thank you, Norrie. If this board think we will blow over by the time we play our next home game in 3 weeks, they are sadly mistaken. Mark O'Neill, evening lads, good to see you both. Looking for any scraps of positivity you can muster. I'll do my best, mate. There's always something I could probably throw in. As much as I'm sitting here rattling like an absolute bag of gingies trying to do this. We'll see what we go. Big Alan, Big Scotto, he's up Mary Hill tonight. So I've heard through the grapevine. People seen him earlier on his BMX. Evening, everyone. I'm taking up quantum physics. It's far less frustrating than supporting Celtic. It's about time you done something, man, because you're murder at race scratch cards.
Alan's on his BMX for the plastic bolts in the wheel. Woo!
It's not that, by the way.
He's
He's wee Paddington Bear canteen labels, man. All the back spokes as well. They like them, by the way. See the blueness in Paddington Scott. See if he goes by a street lamp, man. It just lights his bike up like a Christmas tree, man. Honestly, it just does it perfectly. It's amazing. Estopona boy, evening everyone. It looks a bit like Wayne Lineker in that photo there, by the way. You did well for yourself, pal. I thought that was Wayne Lineker himself. Yeah, so like I said earlier, good evening to everyone that's joining us across the platforms. I hope you are all well. Yeah, so obviously, Ryan, you were on me with Daniel on Monday, and used to obviously had a wee chat regarding what's just materialised. Well, I mean, where do I start? I mean, we've had a long summer, haven't we, mate? It's been, it's been a long summer of, feels a wee bit neglect to an extent. We've not had any transparency at all out the club. I think that's been the biggest problem, mate, for me. There's been no transparency whatsoever. We're not getting told anything. The snippets we're getting fed in the media, you're getting told about, Celtic trying to do deals, and then they're not willing to pay this much, and then they're doing this, and then at the end of the window, they go and pay a sum for Sebastian Tenecki, who obviously we're going to touch on as we go. But you look at one of the other players that was linked with us for a similar fee. The lad Jacob Broom. Evening, Francis. Hope you're well. So when you see that, Ryan, and then the lack of the transparency coming from the board, I think that really heightens the fans' frustrations. Then you can add into that, mate. We start early doors. I think Big Alan mentioned it in a couple of episodes ago that, things were going fine, and Tierney was in early doors, and then you get Nygren in, and then you heard about the boy Osman coming in, and things were starting to move. The boy Doohan came in, and this was early on in the window. And then things just totally stagnate for a period of time. When there's surgery needed in the squad at the top end of the field, the manager in multiple press conferences and interviews and everything Then you have the captain coming out and all saying the same thing. And it wasn't done when it was needed. On and aftermath of all that happening, you then go out on penalties to a team you can't even score a goal against, who should never have beat us in a month of Sundays, even with the squad that we have. So see when you look at the thing as a whole, mate, they've not certainly covered themselves in glory, the board, at all. I mean, I've always been one, I try to remain fairly positive, as you know, mate, regarding the board, and I know people's things are through the roof, and I don't know about you, Ryan, but I just find it very difficult to understand where in this concoction, mate, did it go wrong? How have we got to this point? Like, what's happened? I know there'll be fans out there that think that the board desperately tried to sabotage the club in a way, and they're trying to hinder the club from moving forward, and there's actual people in the club that are trying to do that. I personally don't believe that myself, albeit that there is the end result is as what it is. We never got the players that we tried to get in, and we never got, like, Casper Dolberg, for example, over the line, Ryan, when there was multiple attempts to get him in. And then at the end of that, Celtic, it's too late, because then his former club have come in, they've made a bid, and then Celtic have says, no, it's okay, well, actually, we'll go and match the bid now. But we're too late in doing that, because, why was that not done on the first bid rather than the wait? So there is that aspect of it as well. I think over and above everything else, mate, the only positive we do have is our start to the season. But that has ultimately been clouded, Ryan, because of, minus the Champions League, by the way. We've played 4 games. We're top of the league. We've got 10 points. We've not conceded a goal in the league. And, but we now have a Europa campaign that's about to, in the next weeks, get underway. But let's talk about the outcome first, mate. Where do you think, in your own opinion, mate, where do you think the failings and the discrepancies have been throughout the process?
Until we get definitive answers, it's all hearsay. It's what we feel and what we see and what you hear and what you see in the media, and just obviously, if you know people, you get snippets. If you don't, you're just gone by the media. And again, I'm not accusing anybody personally, because I'm not doing that. But I'm not accusing them for a crime, right? But for me, it's got to land on the board. The money men at the football club, it's got to be, because, listen, the recruitment team might not be the best of standards for the players that maybe the managers gave them, but the deals get done by the money men in the negotiations. That's no on Brendan Rodgers. It's no on Paul Tisdale, David Pleat. As much as they're maybe not doing their job to the best ability and getting them manage the best of players, some of the guys were linked with. We were linked with Balisha for months and months, and then eventually it gets signed.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to ask you, Ryan. See the fees that we're getting told via the media. Like, just example, the Jacob Broom. So they wanted £5.5 million or whatever it was to sign him. Who came up with that figure? Because Go Ahead Eagles have always said it was going to take over £3 million in order for them to recognise this is a possible deal here, and maybe talk about moving the player on. This £5.5 million that's emerged from snippets in the media, where does that came from, and who put that label on? Who does that? Who puts that label on these lads?
It's obviously the guy at Go Ahead Eagles. I don't know if it was just the CEO or it was somebody in higher up in their boardroom or their club. Ridiculed us, says we're no good to talk to, we're no serious in what we're doing, and that's coming for him. So whatever the club's doing, it wasn't up to standard to doing business with. when guys like McGowan and even Mark Henry's getting quite a good information recently, when they guys are putting things out, then especially when something's behind a paywall, which for me means that it's probably going to be accurate to a degree, because if it's not, then the club will probably do it for damages or point out why you're putting out false information.
Yeah.
That's never happened. So I'm going to believe it's probably true. And the thing with Dolberg as well, like, if I had to let 1 to 10 million, right, maybe your first bid is 8 million, but when it looks at it took to get 3 bids to get that. £10 million might seem a lot. Listen, to me, it's a lot of money. Right? If I get £10 million, I'd be absolutely buzzing, right? But £10 million for a football player who maybe some of these teams have not been proven, but recently he's been proven. He got 24 odd goals last year, 24 goals last year. He's got 5 and 8 this year, 55 goals caps for Denmark. Profile suits us perfectly. 27, experience, European experience, been there, done that internationally. Perfect. £10 million for me, considering what you pay for either.
By the way, 10 million's only the deal, Ryan, that the deal was going to emerge to. That's the fee. That wasn't the fee you were going to have to just pay for him. That was what the add-ons were going to take.
Considering what you paid for either, right? I know you get 20 goals, right? But the quality of player you got for that, you're getting double that quality with Dolberg. Why just no go and pay the money? I don't get it. It's not like that money is going to harm the club. It's not like that money is going to make us into debt. It's no. It might take £10 million off you, of course, right? I get that. But if he does come into the club and scores you 20 odd goals, does well in Europa League, no, obviously coming new because we've missed out in the big pot and the format, he wins you the league probably. He automatically, spoke about it Friday, he automatically becomes the best striker in Scotland because his experience and his pedigree and the class he's got. And he'll probably come here and score goals because his profile fits the bill. Why just not go for it? That for me is on the money, man. That's not on Brendan Rodgers. He's obviously him and the recruitment team have highlighted Dolberg, and the money men have not got at them. Well, obviously, we all get the big WhatsApp rumour that was probably right about Nicholson no answering the stuff for Yang. It was probably right because nothing else has came yet. And if that was wrong, I'd imagine the club would come out and say something because they're quick to say things that are wrong for them, for on their side. So Benjamin Seacrest has come out now and said things. Other ex-players have come out. So this isn't just a thing that's people. This isn't just this window. This is going on for years, and I wasn't as much as irate as I was now, JP, because the last maybe few months before this transfer window, I was like, do you know what, right, we'll get players, man. But see, since the start of the season, I'm like, nah, this isn't happening again. We can't wait to the last week. We can't wait till the qualifiers are done. We just can't. I know I've seen Joe Hart and Chris Sutton talk about it. But I know what Joe Hart's trying to say, and the players might know, but like Chris Sutton says, it doesn't matter. When you move on to somebody else, that squad needed help to get into the Champions League. Well, I don't know if it was AC Milan, Slovan Bratislava or Kara, that team needed help. They didn't get help. Yes, you're bang on, JP. We should have won the game. The tactics of the manager should have been better. The manager should have got us through that game.
That's what I said at the time, Ryan. There was no crafty Brendan on the side, mate, to try and get us there. There was no change. There was other strikers on the bench that he could have changed his formation on that game.
Then again,
so that for me, that tie for me, sits with the manager and the players.
Oh, listen, 100%, right? We all know that.
The board don't put players on the pitch. They bring players to the club and help the club that way, but they don't put the players on the pitch and teach them and not teach them, but tactically make them aware of your strategy, and that comes for your manager.
Oh, you're spot on, mate. We all know that game alone in isolation is they should have won that game.
Yeah, right? So that's a failure for the manager and the players.
But again, I agree with what Chris Sutton says as well. If you say Nicholas Kuhn, right? I know people might say there was only one or two or three players that won the referee last year, right? But the stance was it wasn't well like Idago. Where was that stance with Kyogo? Where was that stance with Kuhn? So is he been undermined by the club and they're selling him without getting him replacements, without telling him what's going on, and it just things just don't seem right. We should be booming like, by the way, with the finances, with the manager, with some of the players that have been here, we had. I know, listen, whether or not it was a fluke or no, JP, right? We nearly knocked Bayern Munich out, or we nearly got to extra time to put them out. Listen, extra time, we could have lost it. We could have got pumped in it. We don't know that. But the hearsay is, for me right now, is we went toe-to-toe with some really good teams last year. The draw was favourable, but we still done the business. We went to the Allianz and nearly beat Bayern Munich with the skin of our teeth. And look at us now. We're kind of...
Yeah, we've regressed. We've
I'm
regressed
kind
terribly
of...
from you.
Even on the park, the last few performances, it's been nothing like a Celtic team. And he's right. Sunday was pitiful. Nobody wanted to take responsibility. The players look confident, shattered. McGregor's come out saying we need players. Casper's come out saying I agree with the fans, we need players. The manager's saying it. We're saying it. What's the board saying? What's Michael Nicholson saying? Honestly, JP, I don't know how some of the guys are still in a job. I don't know how some of the guys are still sitting in a healthy wage. What are they doing? They're not putting Peter Orwell, was that 11 years ago he says it? Every money that we gets invested into the park. Sorry, Peter, that was a massive lie.
Yeah, listen, I can understand everybody's gripes, and I don't want to sit here and start making things up because I'm not privy to what's going on at the board level at Celtic and everything that they're doing. People can only from the outside see what it appears to they've not been doing, and then start making up their own minds there, and that seems to be what's happening. None of us are privy to what's going on in terms of the conversation that's took place. Yeah, we've all heard the voice note regarding the situation with Yang. He goes and he does his Birmingham medical, and then through Birmingham not being able to get a hold of certain individuals at the football club, you know, the deal had to get moved on. That get dropped, and they brought in Paddy Roberts on loan at the kind of later stage of that window. You look at Adam Ida. In my opinion, not one Celtic fan can moan about Adam Ida because nobody wanted him here. The guy was hated, and this is a guy that scored over 20 goals last season and 3 in the Champions League. So for me, that's, you talk about your number 9s and everything else, and that's, for me, massive. And the big fella probably felt that hatred as well, and that's probably why I don't believe Swansea were always pursuing Adam Ida. I believe that maybe happened quite quickly during the Champions League time that we had that playoff, and maybe then he wasn't even allowed to speak to Swansea or whatever it was, and then after that he would have probably made that move. But yeah, as I say, even with Brendan, since the transfer window's closed, we've not seen him, we've not heard from him. But obviously we've brought in a couple of players before one in before the deadline and another one that was now free of contract. And Kelechi Iheanacho, and the one before the window is Sebastian Tunecki, who we spent over £5 million from Hammarby. Now, my understanding is he was only with Hammarby for half the season, so he was only there since January till now. He's only been with Hammarby for 6 months. So, you look at that and you do a bit of reading about him, you find out he's one of their better players. And a lot of their fans are now, well, hold on, but their chairman eventually had to, their chairman basically had to let him go because I think the offer that Celtic put in for him, Ryan, was too good to be true. They might not have got offered that again for the lad. Yankee too. I think, I really do think that could have been a big pull, mate, for Adam Ida to go there. But no Celtic fan can moan because most Celtic fans I've seen commenting about Adam Ida, they were giving it he wasn't good enough. There's a couple of comments tonight saying he chucked it. Well, no wonder. I think Ada chucked it as well if I was given the hatred that the big man was getting over the recent months. And this was all based on his $9 million price tag. That's basically it. The Celtic fans think he didn't do enough. like I says, he scored over 20 goals last season, and he's 3 of them were in the Champions League. So we've sold a guy that we bought for 9 million, and we've sold him for 7. But we've now replaced him with a 27-year-old Kelechi Iheanacho. Now, whether people want to like that or not, we need to now deal with that situation, because that wasn't Kasper Dolberg, but we need to now quickly move on, because that's what we're now left with. And by the way, what I would say, Ryan, it's not fair for any Celtic fan to go, I don't want him, get him to and start, because it's not his fault. Iheanacho, this guy's coming in under the radar. He's coming in with no expectation. He's actually coming in the opposite side of what Adam Idah came in at. Adam Idah's came in with all this expectation with that price tag. Iheanacho, nobody in our support line will be expecting anything from him, in my opinion. So anything from that lad is going to be a bonus. Now, people can look at him at Middlesbrough and look. I like to judge people when they're in the hoops, when they play for Celtic. So I remember way back in the day when Chris Sutton was signing us for 6 million. And I remember some of my dad's pals was turning around and saying, Chelsea bought him for 10. He's an absolute dud. He's one of the best Celtic forwards we've had in the last, I don't know how many years. Big City. People were saying about Scott Sinclair. He kind of gave me Aston Villa. He came up here and absolutely, totally terrorised this place. So who's to say this lad Iheanacho is not going to do the same? We don't know, because it's hairy balls I've got, mate. It's not a crystal ball. So I'm not able to get to that point, in terms of being able to predict the future. If that was the case, I'd begin people a lottery numbers go for go. But as I said, it's one of those things, mate. It's we just don't know, and ultimately these guys weren't in the Celtic team on Sunday. They weren't even options. So we're trying to, everybody's all scaremongering now about what they got to do this. We need to settle down, and we need to wait and see what we've got here and what we're dealing with. And people making, big predictions about people, I think that's crazy, Ryan. I personally do. I think that's crazy. Because until you start seeing these guys week in and week out for the club, and all then, mate, you're going to be able to judge and say, right, these guys are going to do us, or these guys are not ultimately going to live up to it, mate.
One thing I will say is, listen, we can still continue to bombard the board and put our feelings towards them and stuff, but do not slaughter these players, because we need to back these players now. Listen, I'll still continue to say my piece about the board and how they've treated the players, the fans, the club, everything. In my opinions, it needs change behind the scenes 100%. But what we do need to do is we need to now back the manager, we need to now back the players. The next few months could be a slog for us if we don't change the way we're playing. Because again, I've looked at listen, like you've said there, JP. Listen, I'm not going to judge Iheanacho because I've not seen him play for.
Well, what is he, Ryan? Is he 27, just about to turn 28?
I think he's 28, 29 soon. So right, he's still an okay age.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's no. By the way, can I just, sorry to cut in, mate? A couple of weeks ago, Celtic fans were all creaming in their boxers, giving it, I can't wait, we're signing Jamie Vardy. And they were ready to accept that.
I'm glad I wasn't.
I'm not talking about here.
I'm glad I wasn't.
What I mean is, there was certain groups of our fans rubbing their hands together, thinking that we were signing Jamie Vardy. This guy's probably 10 years younger than him, and probably still get quite a bit to give to the game. So I don't want to start writing this guy off. So he's actually 27, just about to turn 28. I was right. Obviously, Kaiser's just put it in the comments there. That's Ryan. That's in the prime of his career. That's basically what you were talking about and advocating for the other week there, about somebody who was more in terms of experience and ready-made to come into the squad and help the team.
It's just been the last few years he's hardly played football. He's 48 goals in 10 years. It's no great reading, but yes, he's played the Man City, he's played the Leicester. The last few years he's lost his way. Maybe Brendan can help him. Listen, we can't judge him until he comes. We can't judge Balavisha over Sunday. I thought he looked nervous, so I'll give him a buy on that. Give him a few games. He's fully fit. Let's see how he plays. The Tunisian winger for Hammarby, he did say in his presser his wee bit on Celtic TV that there was a while he heard about this interest, but again, it's took ages to get
So
to
did
that.
Balakwisha. And
Aye,
so
and it's got ages to get to that stage, and why is that? And by the way, Chris Sutton's bang on again, and other teams are signing players, maybe not the same quality, maybe you're targeting, but other teams are getting players in when they're selling players, and for us, it just takes ages and ages, and it can't. What's that?
Europa squad's been announced. Inamura, Yamada, and Osmond are not included.
Right,
Okay.
so that's his 4 signings, Alan, that are no on the team. If that's true, what we're saying here live.
I had an idea Inamura wouldn't have been there.
I get that, right?
And I knew when he signed Ignacio, I knew one of the strikers were going to have to miss out. And I didn't think for a minute it would have been Johnny.
That makes the window even mental on that he's not including him in that. That's guys that him and the recruitment team they've all kept together to try and sign as a club or whatever, and they're no new. But Barry, I thought Yamada looked okay when he came on Sunday. I said to you,
so did I, mate. Yeah,
he got fibbles. Obviously, me, you, and Big Alan and Bev watched it.
Barry Bannon the other day as well, mate. He was the same. He was the same opinion. Yeah, I quite like the look.
He was strong. Listen, I'm not saying that was him number 9 material, but he done better than what we had in the first 65 minutes or 70 minutes. Osmond, I can understand, but that's 4 of the signings. So meant to be signed 10. 4 of them are not going to win that team. Pussy's no kicked the ball yet. It's not great looking, really, is it? I know we can try and be positive, but really, the only positive spin, JP, I can see is the league position. But take away that, man.
I mean, Ryan, that's all but that's ultimately what we've got to go on, mate. Because
it's hard to be positive though with everything, you know.
I get that.
It's very no. We can't judge these guys yet. Like Ian Acho, Balakwisha, and the Sebastian. Just call him Sebastian. I can't say his second name. Can't say it proper. So
Taneki.
I don't want to say anything bad about him. So no, listen, we can't judge the boys yet. We can't even fully judge Osmond yet. We can't every signing we have signed. We can kind of get a judgy internally. Apart from that, we cannot really say anything about any player because we've not seen enough of them. They've not won a games yet. Yamada must be coming here like that. I've just came for coming every week and playing. And I'm the same. Osman, I know he wasn't playing first team football, but he was playing every week with the B team. And then they're coming here to just collect their wage and sit on the bench and no play. It's... I don't know what to say, JP. I'm speechless for that they them are in the squad. Pussy as well, wasn't he on the bench at Ibrox? Mental. I know Brendan spoke about the Simpson pushing on the squad either. Can somebody please correct that? Can't be right.
I've not seen the squad, Ryan.
Surely Simpson Pussy's not come up to be on loan for Man City and he's known the squad. That can't happen. Can it happen? While we're live, you can let me know, JP. He is.
Yeah, Shin Yamada, Jamai Simpson Puze, Hayato Inamura, and Callum Osmond have all been omitted from the Europa squad, and that's that John McGinley that's put that on.
So Puze's in the squad, right? That's all right.
No, they've been omitted from the squad, as in out.
Simpson Puze's not on the squad?
Yeah, he's not on the squad. He's not on the squad. No.
Are you joking?
No, he's not in the squad.
You're saying a guy for on loan for Man City?
I'm going to read out the squad just now, Ryan. I'm going to read out the squad.
People are saying in the comments that he's in.
Ryan, I'm going to read out the squad. So my mistake, I've read this wrong. So sorry for the confusion. I'm sorry if I've upset any individual that was looking for the big man to be included, but he's no, and blah, blah, blah. I do apologise. I'm about to read out the squad. So goalkeepers, we've got Kasper Schmeichel, Packy Bonner, and Jonathan Gould. I'm only kidding, man. We've got Kasper Schmeichel, Sinasalo, and Ross Doohan. We defenders, Alistair Johnston, Jamai Simpson Puzy, your big mate, Brian, believe it or not, Captain Scalesy. He's there. Austin Trusty, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Dane Murray, Anthony Ralston, Marcelo Sarachi, and Kieran Tierney. Midfielders, Rio Atati, Yang, Luke McCown, Arnie Engels, Paolo Bernardo, Callum McGregor, and Jamesy Forrest. Now, I don't know why this guy's name's been put in the forward, because for me, he's not a forward, but here goes the forwards. So, Benji Negrin, Miquel Ange Balikwisha, Kelechi Ignacio, Sebastian Tunetke, Johnny Kenny, and Daisen Maeda. So that's the squad. I don't know why I read one that says...
people are telling me he's pussy, but never. Like, surely no, man.
He's definitely in it. He's
Right, that's all right then. No, but we can't rate off any player.
Francis says he prefers his bathroom skills in the squad, but that's not happening.
Even like Pussy
on them.
Even Pussy on the bench at Ibrox, that's mental. Like, I know Brendan says that he's maybe no match fit fully yet, but he's been training for the last 4 weeks now. He's been training. I know he got a wee bit injury, but I agree with Disco Dave that it is unfair in some of the players for Japan, especially probably Yamada. But obviously he rates Johnny Kenny better than Yamada, which is, listen, we need to...
Inamura was never going to be included. No one we've got Sriracha and Tierney. And
no, probably no.
There was a potential loan deal for Inamura there to Birmingham late in the window, but that never materialised.
The foul... No, you're bang on, JP. We can't criticise the guys that have signed, because we've not seen them play yet. But we need a bit of positivity in terms of the first game back has to be a really good performance. I did say to you before the game, but we did say it on Friday, we need a reaction. Didn't get a reaction from me at all on Sunday. Again, that's worrying for me because we've not had a reaction all season yet. But Brendan's got to change his ways in terms of the way we're playing, and it's got to be quicker. Maybe Balikwisha and Tenetke.
Just to quickly answer that, he's helped to keep 4 clean sheets in the league. He's not conceded a goal. So he's certainly made the defence a hell of a lot sturdier. He's actually turned Liam Scales into a better defender. You look at him on Sunday, his defensive skills were remarkable. So just be talking, you see him talking to him, and hopefully Scales is taking that on board. And it's Big Scales, he starts frustrating the Celtic fans, I think, Ryan, when he thinks he's been watching Big Virgil's DVD for the night before. And
see when Scales defends, see when he defends, like he spoke about the pub on Sunday. See when he defends, he is all right, he is. But see when you're like, Scales, Liam, come on, like just play the ball long. Don't do what you're no good at. Just do what you're actually okay at. Do a bit of defending. When headers, leave Carter Vickers to go and be Van Dijk, because you look at Van Dijk half the time he's done that.
Yeah, but as he is in the squad, mate, Jemai Simpson-Puzzi's in the squad of defenders, mate. I think he's the second defender down the list from Alistair Johnston.
But I'll let you back in, mate. But the foul, you can't judge any player until they play for Celtic. Listen, we can have the profile might not fit, or he might have done well in the past. We can have a wee bit of judgment, but until we see him playing with Celtic, we can't fully judge him. But no, the full thing at the club now is no great. That definitely, I can't mind who it was. I don't know if it was John Paul too. It says it. We have seen the statement from the SCSEs and fan media. For me, I agree with it. I've only
seen a snippet of it, mate.
Yeah, I agree with it. The questions need to be answered. They eventually need to come out. I've seen the club across the water, Rangers. They've come out and told about the manager and the plan for the club and the future plans. Spurs have done it. I don't know if it was Ajax. I've done it recently. Galatasaray have come out and told what a new signing's getting wages wise and what the plan for him is. This club needs to speak, because there's too many people that are silent. For me, like I say, JP, there's people that shouldn't be in a job for the way they've treated this club, and the fans and players, and things need to change, and they can't be silent, because I think, again, I'm no one for telling fans not to go to games, still support the club, but the only way you're going to get eventual silence as we're talking for your feet, and that's what Rangers fans done. Don't go to games. Don't go to games. Don't buy the merchandise. Don't, because I know other people will, but when they start seeing crowds going down and they start seeing this going down and they start seeing more emails getting bombarded, eventually they're going to come out. There's going to be, listen, I know it's a laugh and a joke, but there will be sharks eventually back out again. There will be banners outside the ground if things do not start being this silence away, because it's criminal, mate. And I said my piece on Monday about it, and I really don't want to keep talking about it, but
No,
it's
I know we
hard.
can't just we
It's
can't
hard
keep
not
going
to
on
know.
about it because people
It's
are
hard
going to
not to
eventually get fed up with his. He is in the squad, boys. Trust me, he's in the squad, mate. It might just not have been updated yet, but he definitely is in the squad. Jemai Simpson Puzzi's in the squad. James says the two wingers were brought in are both lefties. They're no, James. The boy Tanecki can play both flanks, and so can Balikwisha. They're actually two right-footed as well. Well, predominantly right-footed, but the boy Tanecki can play with both. But the two of them can activate on both flanks, mate, and that's also something I think Ryan's quite good for the squad, mate, to give us that kind of versatility. That was a big thing, mate. You know, we sold Kuhn. People are going, right, we need to replace Kuhn. Jota's injured, we need to replace Jota. There's been two guys brought in to do that. I think Brown Warrior put a comment in about Maeda now playing through the middle. Ignacio's not going to come here, mate, and just Todd Jacobs either. You know, I think there'll be games where he'll have to play. Certainly, what it'll change, Ryan, for me, is now the bench looks even stronger. Because eventually in some of these games, as you start to hit like December, there's no winter break, remember? So I think it's December's normally when we play about a quarter of our league games in that 1 month. The squad will get used, you know. I'm hearing, you know, you need to talk to your mate Mendes to find out what's going on, but I've heard the wee man's back in training again, and so who knows? I mean, we've got Jota there, I know, as well to come back. Alistair Johnson's going to be back in a number of weeks. He's now got a couple of weeks even more recovery now due to international. He's not going to be playing international with Canada. So who knows? He could be back early. I know there was a 12-week period where that can happen. Again, that gives us a different, a different look there. Ethan Barry, hope you're well. So, yeah, now we're here on the night that young Tony Ralston's now injured. My understanding is that he's pulled a muscle in his leg, trying to pull big Miovski right out of his pocket. And he's done his tie apparently, so he's had to pull out the Scotland squad tonight. But again, mate, you've got young Kobe Donovan there. Yeah, so it's we're now left in that position where I like to look at Kobe. I do. It might be a bit early, but this is one of those ones, mate. I remember David Marshall got flung in the new camp, and it was a case of do or die, son. Sean Maloney was flung on at Ibrox for his debut at 17, and a game at Celtic won. You know, and it's happened before with young boys, mate. Brendan obviously speaks very highly of Kobe. If it's true that Tony Ralston has to pull out the Scotland squad and he is going to be injured, ultimately, mate, that's why he kept Kobe around around the place. There was an option for Kobe to go to Dundee, my understanding was, and that get pulled quite early doors due to we needed other cover because obviously Alistair Johnson's injury. So when you look at that and you say, right, I think there's a guy John in tonight, and he was talking about giving our youth an opportunity and a chance. We've seen that early doors with Dane Murray, and he's stepped up, Ryan, in my opinion. I like to look at Dane Murray, I really do. Stephen Welsh has obviously moved on to Motherwell for another loan deal. I'm beginning to think that boy's now going to be sponsored by a credit union soon. He's had that much loans. But that will remain to see as well. But yeah, so as I said, it's one of those ones, mate. We can't keep going round in circles. I think one of the comments earlier about, if the Celtic hierarchy and the moneymen seem to think that this will all go away. It's probably not going to go away. You know, this fallout will continue, but it's the same old, Ryan. We get back to football. We play Kilmarnock a week on Sunday, mate, and if we come back, like you says, mate, we get off to an absolute flyer. Iheanacho makes his debut, scores 2 or something. That starts everybody talking again, and, you know, even the boy Tanecki, if he comes in and scores, or even Balikwisha steps on and scores and really shows something, then I think, Ryan, what we need these two boys, I don't want to put hundreds of pressure on it to them, but we just need them to help the team. See if they can give us something fresh, mate, with a different idea, a different look there, some speed, because the two of them are quick, so we know that. And if they can give us that kind of oomph that the team's been missing, that might reinvigorate, you know, Hattati. It might give somebody like Engels. It might give somebody McGregor. It might even, if Maeda's through the middle that day, it might just, you know, it might just spark. That's all it's going to take, Ryan. After now this window's closed, mate, and the heat's on it to start getting screwed on now, getting into the next 5-6 months to the next window, then it might just spark something in these boys to go, right, we've still got a job here. I know Roger spoke about it in terms of, you know, your wages going to the bank every month and they do this and they do that. So it might just take something like that to spark them. And then, yeah, so it's one of those ones. It's we just need to wait and see, mate. But I don't want to start making silly predictions regarding some of these new lads, mate, especially guys like Iheanacho. But again, mate, you look at that as well, and I'm trying to look at the positive side of that, albeit it's, you know, people say it's big Naveed and panic buy and everything else. But you know, he's 27 or he's 28, just about to turn 29. And it's he's a left footer and all. So again, I'm looking forward to see how that fits into our play, Ryan, because that might give us something different, mate. That's going to make us look different again. Last left footer we had up there was Lee Griffiths. Mm-hmm. And he was a handful, mate. You know, and left footers are normally a handful because they've got that lower centre of gravity. They can spin, they can turn. He's got a ton of speed as well, mate. So I'm actually looking forward to, now that he's in the door, and now that we've no other option but to look forward, mate. I'm now looking forward to seeing how these guys now fit in with guys like Callum and guys like Tierney and Casper and all the kind of big characters we've got in that dressing room, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing how these boys fit in and actually start to, you know, try and hit the ground running as we go.
Obviously the thing about the board, listen, that's not going to go away now. They've went too far now. Nothing's going to. Sorry, excuse me that. Nothing's going to change in terms of the board stuff. That's just going to get highlighted even more. But like I says, when the games start, we need to back the team. Still give our thoughts about the board and everything else need to change. Still continue
Ryan, I need to stand corrected because Clyde One Super Scoreboard have just put out an announcement here. And it says that Celtic striker Shin Yamada has been omitted from the Europa League squad. The Japanese forward has featured in 5 of the last 6 matches in all competitions, but won't be able to play during the league phase of the European adventure. Fellow new signings, and one of them is Jemai Simpson-Puzzi, Hayato Inamura and Callum Osmond haven't also made the cut. So I have to stand corrected there. I've just read that. That's from Clyde One Super Scoreboard. So that they've put that out. New wingers Sebastian Tanecki and Mikhail Ange Balikwisha have been included. Jota also misses out with the Portuguese still in recovery from his ACL injury.
What was the point of signing Pussy then?
I've got no idea.
What is the point? That's absolutely bonkers, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Sugar man, I agree with you. Just send him back. What's the point? You obviously don't rate the boy. He's no match fit yet. He can't play in Europa League. he's hardly going to play in front of Trusty, Scales, or Vickers by the looks of it. Aye, the trailer says wait to Celtic's official list. Maybe that's the best thing to do. If Simpson Poussey is not in the squad,
Has Celtic not put out their official list? Is this just all kind of
obviously
hearsay or?
means IP's live, so I'm no
Yeah, so
I can't.
I'm just trying to do my best with keeping updates as we go, folks. So I don't know if has this come from, was Celtic the official one it came out from, or how how did this go?
If Simpson Poussey's no in that squad, Kevin Gallagher said it's official. Well, I'm going to just say it two ways here, right? If it's included, then that's brilliant. That's good. It means that he's part of the team and he's obviously fit enough to get back in the team, etc. And he should be in the team. He should be in the squad. He's highly rated for Man City. Guardiola didn't want to sell him, but if he's no in that team, that's an absolute mystery. And it sends many alarm bells to me. Why are most of the guys that you've signed not in the team?
Yeah.
Was this a boat signing for the City group now? Is that what it was? Because that's the way it's looking if he's not in that team. Because if Guardiola and the Man City fans are saying he's highly rated, maybe he's no done well in training. By the way, listen, if that's the case, fair enough. But it just doesn't make sense, JP, that we've signed 4 or 5
100%,
guys.
Ryan.
It's
Sitting here now, mate, I can't think of any reason why.
They've got to come out and tell us all this. Why have you signed a boy who's highly for Man City? Apparently we couldn't afford him to sign him, but he can't even. Again, some of these teams, by the way, I know we didn't qualify for the big competition for no beating a team that we should be absolutely, let's be fair, destroying, right? But some of the teams that we're going to be playing against, they're all right teams like Midfield, right? They're all right. They're all right, but we should be beating Midfield, right? We should be teams like that, right? And he's not even good enough to play against them. So what chance has he got to play with Manchester City?
Yeah. No, listen,
if he cannot get on the bench?
He's already playing for Man City. This is the thing. But we, again, because we've not seen him, mate, we don't know where he is in fitness. So
if he can't get a game longer term with Celtic at this age, he's never going to be a Man City player longer term. If you listen, Celtic's a massive club, but if you cannot play in Scotland against, again, no disrespect, because some of these guys are still good players, they're athletes, they live their life to an absolute T. Dundee, I know Dundee are done now. Dundee, sorry. Ross County are done now, but
there is a list, Ryan. There is a list that Big Alan from the channel has actually texted me, and he's on that list. But obviously, that list is obviously differed from what else has been put out.
Right, as it stands, we don't know what's going on, right? So we'll just get on. He is or isn't he? We don't know. We'll see after this ourselves. But if he's no, mate, that's mental. But some other side,
100%. Like I says, I can't even begin to think
we'll maybe need to wait till next few days to see. Obviously, once we're finished here, but
I can't even believe Gotta's not been picked, man. He'd have been good for a hairstyle at least, man. You know what I mean?
But if some of the signings, again, mate, it just shows my live 3 topics can pop up. But if some of the signings that we have signed have not got in that team, it makes it even more baffling that there was no other guys to come in, because obviously, listen, he mentioned Inamura, he mentioned Yamada, he did say Osman was a project player. It's some of the guys in the recruitment team then need time as well, and the manager then need questions. But I've written these questions now because
I'd imagine. Listen, I would imagine that kind of question will come up in obviously a presser. But like I say, us sitting here now, mate, we can only give an opinion on what we're being told, and But I'm listen. Dane Murray's a tank. Of course he is. He's an absolute big boy, and I really like the look of him.
See, that no thing as well, JP.
Under the sun,
I've seen a comment there as well. Does he need to be registered because of his age? Can you not have under 21 players on it?
I don't even know.
Is that still?
Excuse my ignorance.
I'm the same.
Know how old he is just now.
Is he not 19?
If somebody in the comments can let us know what age Jemai Simpson Poussey is.
I'm sure he's 19. As you know. But again, me and you don't know what's going on, mate. So we'll just need to play it by ear, I suppose. Martin
Yeah,
says
but as I
19,
said, Big
aye.
Alan, who's a member of the channel, did send me a private text, and it's the list I read out to you guys earlier in the channel tonight, obviously, and that he was on that list. But obviously that list might not be accurate now or whatever it is. He's only 19, so there we go. He's 19 years old.
So I spent about 20 minutes talking something we don't know about.
No, listen, that's that's it. I mean, we don't know, and that's the thing. We don't know what the reason is behind that. So yeah, and what's Big Rab saying?
No, we've
Just
not
giving
blocked
you
any
guys a
comments,
reason.
Rob.
Have you blocked the comments? No, mate. But as you can appreciate, Rab, there's comments firing through at us, mate. So he said the Daily Record had Puzzy in the team when the show went
Right.
live. They have since
Okay.
updated now, and obviously he's not there. Right, fair enough. Apologies, Rab. Obviously these comments fly through really fast, mate, and it's like an auto cue trying to follow them, mate. You should try and be on my side and see what we're dealing with every time we do this.
I'm looking here trying to see comments and mulling
Yeah,
them.
when
It's
you
hard to go
guys
through them all.
comments, they come at us really, really fast when we're sitting here. So bearing in mind, me and Ryan have also got to have a conversation while we're here as well. So, but you do get used to it. It's just obviously it takes a wee moment or two, and depending on what kind of day you've had as well, sometimes your brain doesn't keep up with the rest of you. And gone with some of the chats on here before. Some people's brains haven't kept up with a lot of things through the years. But
That's where we were before this came up about Boy Donovan that you said to me, mate. Aye, listen, it's a big chance from now. He might get a few games until Johnson comes back. And obviously Ralph's injured now, so listen, if he's ever going to make it Celtic, JP, this is the biggest step for him. He might get a few games as well. So, again, is he good enough? We don't know. We generally don't know. This is probably the biggest chance he'll get. So, listen, good luck to him. Is it a position we should be in? Probably no, but we are what we are, and let's hope the boy can.
See, as you say that, Ryan, and I hear Celtic fans say that quite a long time. Why do we have such a dull look on our?
Hi Barry.
Why do we? Hi Barry. Obviously, I'll come to your comment in a wee second, Buzz. Why do we have such a dull look on our young prospects? You know, I think it's just an overall thing that Celtic fans seem to look down on the young lads and they're not good enough. I think it just comes from the reputation that young boys have got because they're not beating civil service strollers every week or the Bay City Rollers every week that they're playing against. You know, I think it just seems to be a very dull opinion that we seem to have of these young lads. Instead of having the opinion, right, me man, let's see how good you are. I'm on in with the big boys and actually show what you can do. Because that's why we've got Kieran Tierney. That's why we've got Cal McGregor. That's why James Forrest is there, because they came through and they were one of the wee guys before that the bigger boys went, right, come on, let's see what you've got. There's not enough of that happening now. And there seems to be a very dull approach to it now, in my opinion. And the Celtic fans are always fearful of that. But for me, those two lads that we've mentioned tonight, Dane Murray and Kobe Donovan, quite of recent, Ryan, seem to have more than just enough minerals there, mate, to go and actually hold their own and show. Like, hold on a minute, I can actually, especially Dane Murray. For me, he's far superior to Stephen Welsh, and that's not a bad thing on Stephen Welsh. I'm not trying to down Stephen Welsh. I just think Dane Murray's ultimately a better footballer and a better defender. So again, with Kobe Donovan, mate, we don't know how good Kobe's going to be.
No,
Kobe could be much better than Tony Ralston, mate. And to be fair, I don't think Tony Ralston's good enough to play for Celtic every single week. But he's a great squad player. Do you understand what I mean? He's good for the team that way. And I thought he was a great defender for us on Sunday again. I thought he was outstanding at what he done on Sunday. So that's just my opinion on Tony. But I don't like looking at that. Obviously, too much, Ryan, because I think we need to have more of an open mind when it comes to some of the young lads, especially some of these guys, Ryan, because they've been about the team too long now, mate, to Dane Murray's been given a new contract, mate. So the manager must see something in him, mate. For him to be one of those lads that might fall by the wayside. That's just in my thinking, mate.
Aye, you're right, mate. It's a massive chance now for these boys to come in and step in and get their chance. Especially Donovan, if he's going to have a play with Celtic and be here long term, then this is the chance he's going to get. Again, we don't know how the injury is with Alston. Is it a few days, few weeks, few months? We generally don't know. So let's just hope the boy comes in. He'll get the confidence from the manager and probably his own players. So let's just see how he turns out. Dave Murray, again, he's looked decent. He has. I agree with Disco Dave. He's not a young prospect anymore. He's got to start getting himself into the first team now. He's probably got 18. I think he's maybe got 18 months or so to get yourself on the team. If he's not then he'll be like Welsh. He'll not be here. I think there's a certain age I think you get, JP, and then if you're not playing every week or even if it's every second or third week consistently, I think eventually you need to go away on loan or you need to go away. I think there's only so...
You think these boys have got a different attitude to maybe some of the other young lads, Ryan, in terms of they're a bit more grounded and that's why they've been able to stay around the place so long?
Possibly. Again, I don't know if maybe some managers try and give them as much, no leeway, but as much time to get in the team as possible. But I've always said, mate, I think you need to be... Even at the now we're not playing our best, I still think you need to be exceptional to be in this Celtic team as a young player, because I do agree with what you're saying, but if our B team who are full time cannot go and beat Bonnyrigg Rose, they can't go and beat Tennent, who are still good players by the way at that level.
Bearing in mind those lads aren't with the B team
no,
anymore.
Aye.
They're now in the first team.
But some of the boys like Ricardo and some of the boys who we all think might be prospects. Now, listen, the boys that I played Bonnyrigg Rose, Tennent and Clydebank, I played against some of them years ago. Some of them are really good players. They live their life at full-time footballers, but they're part-time. And we've got guys who are playing with Celtic who are getting the best of facilities, the best of training, the best of everything infrastructure. They're full-time footballers.
Yeah.
And they're getting beat pretty comfortably off part-team teams. And like we've said, JP, as much as it might be good individually, but coming for that league, to then go and play in front of 50, 40, 50, 60,000, whatever a cup game, league game, it's very hard to go, oh, right, okay, no, all right, I'm playing in front of 50 people at Tennent, all right, no, it's 50, Jesus. It's a massive culture shock as well. This is where these boys need to get bled in, but like we've always said, as much as
the way your chat was going on Sunday, wee man, I thought me and you were ready to get another 5 bodies and get on my phone for Game of Sevens.
I know. But as much as we want that to happen, see when you're trying to win trophies and try to qualify for Europe and try to get the best Celtic team on the park, when do you fit them in? That's why I'm saying I think they need to be unbelievable to get in this team. They can't just be okay, because being okay at Celtic, in my opinion, is not good enough. You need to be a standard to come in and contribute. And there's some of the youth players doing that at the moment. So yeah, we can only go by what we see.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. I do like the look of Kobe Donovan. I think he did a decent pre-season with us there. He showed some really good stuff. And I like Dane Murray. I think he's got the minerals, I think, to be a right good centre-back. He kind of reminds me of young John Kennedy. Remember when John was kind of making his kind of way into the Martin Hill team? I've got the same feeling about him, and I'm just hoping now. I know he's had injuries, and I know he's had a couple of setbacks here and there, and I'm just hoping now that he can stay fit.
Me commenting off Addy, mate. I obviously mean you're live, but don't know if that's true. Is that true, Addy? That he's not playing for the B team?
I think it's been something that's been well documented. This is why
I've not heard that, mate.
This is why no, it's been something that's been happening over the last couple of weeks, Ryan.
I've heard nothing, I've seen nothing, mate.
Yeah, this is also why Anamura's not involved either. Apparently he refused the same thing. They were asked to play a B team game a couple of weeks ago. I think it was the one Osman scored in.
But I didn't think first team players were allowed to be in the B team.
They were, because it was a friendly.
Ah, right.
They were asked to go and be part of the squad, and I think there was talk of they too. But again, listen, I don't want to talk out of turn, by the way. I don't really want to I don't really want to.
By the way, I've generally, obviously we know people in the game, that JP, and we get the odd message here, the odd phone call and stuff, and we obviously chat to people, but I've not seen that, and I've not seen that online, I've not heard it, so that's news to me. I've not seen that, so that's quite surprising. That I don't like anybody that refuses. Doesn't matter if it's B team, C team, whatever. You play football, you've got your contract on to Celtic, or you're signed with Celtic.
Yeah, but it depends on the terms of the agreement that he's came on loan as well, mate. He's probably came on loan with a view to playing in Celtic's first team. So he like say Big Pussy. I think I would be in the same. If I was in his shoes, I'd be like, no, well, I'm not here to play with your B team.
I get that, but
see
if you're no fit and the manager wants you to play 90 minutes and then maybe play on the Saturday, you do it, JP.
Yeah, no, there is that. But again, Ryan, me and you on the privy to what's
I've not got a clue. So
that is supposed to be the,
that's the first.
That's supposed to be the kind of statements that were made, and obviously Anamura's the same. He falls into the same path there. Yeah, as I say, mate, we don't know. Obviously, I've kept Big Barry's comment. I never properly, because we were chatting, I never properly got to kind of read through it. Big Barry says, "Evening lads, I'll say this, Brendan Rodgers is not without blame in the summer recruitment process. The board have let people down with the process, but I still feel we have a top squad. Brendan Rodgers should pick his toys up." Yeah, I've had a chat with a couple of people about this.
Even William. William said the same, JP. And we know William's pretty trusted with us, mate. So,
evening, boys. Just joined when hearing about refusing to play in a B team. I heard this as well. Listen, see if he has, fair play to him, because that's not what he was essentially brought up here to do. He wasn't brought up here to play with a B team. He was brought up here. His loan agreement won't be for him to come and play with Celtic's B team from Man City. Are you mad? There's no way that would have been involved in a conversation. He was coming up here to play for Celtic's first team. Now, my understanding is that he's missed a period of pre-season and he's not played in any games. He never played a game for Man City. He was only training with a small group of City's squad. So if that's, the game was probably to get, as Ryan says there, to get him up to a bit more fitness and help that way. But you can't, for me, you don't fall out with a boy just because he doesn't want to play in your B team. That to me just seems a wee bit as Barry was saying there about, the manager toys out a pram. To me, that's what that sounds like to me. But fair play to him, Ryan, because if I was coming from Man City's academy stroke first team and I had played in the Champions League for Man City last season, and Celtic went like that to me, we want you to play for a B squad, I'd have been like, are you having a laugh? Are you joking? I'm above that. I'm better than that. Let me show you. Put me in your first team and I'll show what I can do. But again, obviously, and for me, there was games there, Ryan, that he could have done it. He could have played them in the Falkirk game.
Is that maybe why Danny's not been in the team at the weekend then? On the squad?
Well, there you go. He came up here to play in the first team. Brendan Rodgers clearly no keen on him. Same with other players that have been left out. Well, if that's the case, then what then begs the question as to why he was brought here.
That's what I said earlier. Why sign him?
Yeah. Why has he been brought up then? Because we can't have him this season. Man City, if that's been the case, I'd be straight. If that was me and I was a lad, I'd be straight on the phone to Man City saying, "Listen, you need to get me back down the road because this isn't happening."
I get what Barry's saying there as well, right? But see the fact that 5 of them, or 4 or 5 of the guys might not be in the squad, right, for the Europa League, and they might not even play a lot of league games. Is that because he's not signed them and he's thought, I don't like you, see you later?
I don't know, Ryan. I don't know. But as Barry says as well, Brendan can't get away squeaky clean because I blame Brendan and the team for that debacle that we came away for Kazakhstan with. So I blame the manager. I don't blame the board. I blame the manager. The manager's well capable of. He had a team well capable. He had £26 million worth of talent sitting on our bench in that game. 26 million quid's worth of talent. Now that team only spent 300 grand in the transfer window up until that point. He had 26 million quid's worth of talent sitting on that bench. So for me,
He didn't even try and.
there was no craft, Ryan. There was nothing, mate.
No.
Like I says earlier on the channel tonight, there was no craft. There was no any oomph. There was none of that whatsoever.
Is that what it is, William? 2 years. I thought it was to do with age. There you go. Just as well just as well you're involved in the game, William. You can tell us.
Yeah, that's it. Well done, William.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks for clearing that one up. That's quite interesting, that. But yeah, that's obviously why he's not there. So yeah, listen, Ryan, I don't want to sit here too much more time, mate, and go round and round in circles in it, mate. We now need to move forward. As much as people can say they weren't happy, they might not be happy with members of the money men and the hierarchy with the team, but the team cannot suffer for what's happened upstairs. We need to get behind the team because they badly need a wee bit of our support, the last wee while. Because for me, all this sack the board and, ultimately I thought the chance were premature. But again, they were deemed accurate, I'm afraid, in terms of looking for change, etc. And I don't mean changing desperate personnel. I'm just talking about changing the way they go about things. You listen to Dara on the Sky channel, and he was talking about transparency and how it's much a key thing in the game today. And I don't simply mean I'm calling for people's heads to roll or, but we need a wee bit more transparency. We can't have this silence that there is. Now, my understanding is I think there was a fans forum meant to be booked for tomorrow night. That's now been cancelled due to this Europa, something to do with Europa scheduling or something, and the way they're going about that, and the club need to be active with that as well, and what's going on with the Europa fixtures and everything that's going to take involvement there for the safety procedures and all that. So that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but there was meant to be a fans forum set up for tomorrow night with the hierarchy, and that's been postponed. There's not been a date given yet for when the next one's going to be. Yeah, like I say, mate, we need to move forward and we need to try and do it in a positive way in terms of look at the start of the season we've had. Look at we all looked at the fixtures. Big Bev was on with us, Ryan, when we looked at the fixtures back then, mate. And we looked at it, we had Aberdeen away, St Mirren, top 6 club for last season. We couldn't beat them the last day of the season last season. Ultimately, we beat them narrowly this season. We went to Aberdeen, we won. We've played Livingston. We battered them 3-0, albeit the first half wasn't good. But again, the total team changed that day as well. And then we've went to Ibrox and we've come away really unscathed. Probably a better result overall for us than it was for them, Ryan, considering the start of the season they've had. And this is all I've been told as well, they've spent loads of money. But I'm not being funny, but nearly 5 million quid. They've got a wee lassie with her hair braided running about in the middle of the park. She looks like a wee lassie that was on holiday with her man Dial this summer for on Erin Benidorm. And she got her hair braided before she came home. You need to have something about you, mate, if you're going to have your hair like that. So the people are going about, but we spent 8 million quid in a striker. I know, but he's not, we spent 9 million quid in Adam Ida. He scored goals. This guy's not scored 2 in 2 years. So I've seen them, mate. People saying, no, they've done this, they've done that. They have. We be probably the poorest we're probably ever going to be in that fixture now at the weekend. Flat as a dodo, lack creativity and everything. And they still couldn't break us down. And that's their team's only added 2 players, by the way, to that squad that faced us at the weekend. With Cornelius and the big boy up front. So they've need Essers. They've sold Egaman. Raskin's in the bad books with the manager, and there's that debacle going on in the background as well. So I wouldn't be getting hyped up about them because we've seen them. Ultimately, the overall performance at the weekend, you can say, right, was flat. But in my opinion, I think we'll only get better that's probably the best they're going to conduct. They need to start worrying about other teams in the league that are ahead of them and no Celtic. So, see the Celtic fans out there that are going, but they've spent over 30 million quid. Well, they haven't really, but the media have hyped that to be like that. I think their net spends 7 million or 8 million quid. The way I read it today. So, that is what it is, Ryan. I'm looking forward to seeing what these new boys are going to bring Celtic and what Celtic are going to be doing. I'm not really looking over the fence, mate. I want to see what we can do now after, which has been a really, really dark cloud followed us over the summer, mate.
We definitely need to start playing football again, mate. The manager, as Barry says, I'm agreeing. I have got my grievances about the board and the money men and the press process. I will continue to say my piece on it, but Barry is correct and you're correct. We've all said it that we should have got through that tie with a small investment or without much investment. That's the principle of investing in the team. Listen, we've chatted about that and we'll continue to chat about it because we can't let it happen next year. Because there's a possibility that we might have qualifiers next year and we cannot be in the same situation. This is why we're saying things have to change. Things have, because if they can't be prepared for one playoff game with the same board and the same recruitment team and the same money men, they're not going to be prepared next year. It's not going to happen. They're not going to go, all right, let's just change now. It's not going to happen. They've not changed for years. So I'm agreeing. Listen, we still see a piece on the board and we still want change. We'll keep hammering that. We'll keep doing that. But the team don't backed. The players can't be neglected due to this. We need to back the players. We need to go and continue now and really, really help these players as well. Because listen, these players will need to help some games this year. If this is the way this is going to be playing the football. I know Brendan says that he doesn't tell the players to pass it back, but well, Brendan, the performances the players are kinda it's no great. It's no good looking on you either because you're putting that team out. You're sitting all week.
See, when you're watching a game on Sunday, Ryan, you're talking about passing it sideways and backwards. See if nobody's moving, mate. Where else are they players meant to go?
I get that, but there was times where they can pass the ball forward and they're not doing it. There was an opportunity last week in Cara where McGregor was 20 yards, had the ball, there was nobody near him 20 yards, and he passed the ball back. That's is it confidence? I agree with, I don't know if it was Brown Warrior or Cameron to say the comment there. McGregor was honking on Sunday. Me and Daniel spoke about it on Monday. He was well off the pace. I don't know what he was doing in the last few minutes of the game. Lost concentration.
The one that really got me was when he just stopped as if he
that's what I'm saying.
I stopped in the middle of the pitch.
I don't know what's happening with Callum. Is it because he's needing a rest? Is he burnt out now? I don't know the reason behind it, but I said it with Daniel the other day and I'll say it again. We've spoken about it. Me and you and Alice spoke about it. Even Barry Barmer spoke about it on here. When do we start looking at making sure he's got somebody to come in and help him, i.e. to take the burden off him, so he doesn't end like Scott Brown in 3-4 years' time. Scott Brown has a bad season, similar to McGregor, and all we think about is, I left in a bad season. He was terrible that season. Don't want that. We don't want that to be Callum. Phase him in, phase him out, phase him in. He doesn't need to play every cup game. He doesn't need to play 90 minutes every game. If we're 2 or 3-0 up, you can take him off. He doesn't need to start a home game against Falkirk. Near face to Falkirk, but Bernardo and Engels and McKibben should be good enough to come in and beat teams like Falkirk. And they should be. Realistic, they should be. So Callum doesn't need to play every game. Bernardo, don't know what's happened to him. When the game starts, right, people definitely need to back the team 100%. Make sure Sebastian, Bartwisha and actual they get all the support to try and make us better. But it's was that JP Williams comment there? I think he's put a comment there. He said
what I found interesting is the fact we signed 2 left-sided wingers in the last days of the window. We are overloaded in that position, so let's see what Brendan Rodgers puts right. William, see the thing is, mate, both of them can operate on the right as well, mate. So both of them are predominantly right-footed as well. So I get what you mean. Both of them have played left side for the teams that they've came from, but that doesn't mean that they can't play on the right. So yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see how the teams shape up because you've still got Maeda there. I predominantly don't think Maeda William will play through the middle every game, mate. I think Ignacio's certainly not going to sit there now and hold jackets, and I think he'll get significant game time, especially in the bigger games now that we're in the Europa, and that's just the way I see it, Ryan. I don't know if yourself.
And obviously in terms of what William said there, guys could be moved out right or left, or I don't know with Maeda as well. But again, no matter how good a striker you are, listen, you can still go and link your player. I was critical of Ida.
What did we do when Jota's back then?
It's just competition, mate. As well, it helps the squad.
That's
so
what I'm saying. That's just around the corner once we get to that
but
point.
it will take Jota a good while to get back to full fitness. Again, I'm only talking from my own experience. I didn't have all the stuff that he had, but it takes a long time from the injuries and cruciate. That's a hard injury. I just hope he does come back, hopefully better than they left us for injury. But Maeda, doesn't matter how good a striker you are. Listen, I was critical of Ida because Ida didn't really, for me, even though he wasn't getting service, he wasn't really putting himself about, he wasn't running channels, he wasn't doing anything to help himself to try and make space. But if Maeda's doing that, and these three wingers are Jota, Forrest, if it's Bartwisha, if it's Sebastian Taneki, if they provide Kenny, Maeda, Iheanacho with service and they do the right things, they will score goals. But as a striker, you do need wingers that are creative and they're going to give you chances. And we've seen that in Sunday, JP.
Yeah.
Maeda get absolutely no service. There was no creativity. There was once or twice Bartwisha had the ball and he didn't go forward. I think it's nerves because we and you spoke about with Big Alan and Bev and my dad over the weekend that he looked nervous.
Listen, it's an easy game to bypass him, Ryan,
but
as well.
Look, we'll just see how we go. Listen,
it's all right talking to him about these games, mate. It's not until you get in the arenas and you go, wow, right, hold on a minute.
We can be positive about the new signings in terms of no positive, but well, probably less positive probably as Iheanacho because he's a free agent and we could have got Dahlberg and all that. Listen, just back them. Until they don't show us anything, then we can go, right, no good enough. Why do we sign them?
There's got to be a song in there. There's got to be a song. No doubt the Green Brigade will come up with a song. We should have had Casper. There'll be a song in there somewhere.
Listen, we need to back the team on the park. They still need our support. The players still need back. We need to make sure that they're getting full support on the stadium and stuff. But definitely in terms of the board, this needs to. They need to come out. There can be no more silence. For me, it's. Again, I know people are saying that Brendan's been backed, and he has been backed, right? But we've only spent, what is it now, 13 million?
Yeah.
Something like that. That's, for a club like Celtic, that's roughly what we spent in the COVID season. And look what happened that season. So it just shows you investment. People might say Engels and he didn't listen. I get they might not be the guys that maybe you think they are because of the transfer fees. I think Engels now's got to do a lot more. He gave me a really, really good feel when he first came in and he done well in Europe last year, but he's started to do a wee bit and he's got to be better. Trusted, he's hardly played this season, and then obviously you've got Ida who's away now. But they guys still done some good stuff last year. So the investment did work because we won a double, we nearly not Bayern Munich out, and we got far and furthest we've been in Europe in a while. So this is where the frustration is that they've no went to go beyond that. The full consensus is the fans are no getting answers. We're no getting the best version of Celtic on the park and off the park. And that's the biggest thing. We're no getting the ambition. Matt, where is wild or no, JP, the fans' ambitions is no matching the board's ambitions and it's no matching the money men at the club. It's clearly no, because...
No, but I've said that a million times, Ryan. If the fans had their way around the Celtic money pockets, mate, we'd be in the gutter by next Tuesday, mate.
Like I'm saying, I'm not saying going to spend... I'm not saying going to spend 50 million on two players. Spend within your budget. No, that's what I'm saying, but spend within your budget.
But again, we don't even know what the budget was. So.
Aye, but there's clearly money there to be spent.
See, the thing is, mate, the way I think everybody needs to remember and know is how difficult the transfer market's now becoming. Because you look at all the bigger teams, they weren't getting proper deals done either.
You're right, but exactly what Chris Sutton says, though. How can, as much as it might not be the quality that we're looking for, How are Hearts getting players in? Hibs, Aberdeen, Rangers.
But they're doing it
Not,
they're
but
doing
they're
it in their
still
own
signing
net. They're
players.
doing it,
Aye.
yeah, of course, but they're doing it in their own net. We're looking at a higher bracket of player than they are.
Well, we should be.
Well, we are, because we're signing guys at £5.5 million for one player. Hearts aren't doing that, mate.
But they're getting players in that are coming to help the first team as it stands right now. We've no.
Yeah,
I mean? That's
but
what I'm saying.
if you brought one of those guys into the Celtic team, he wouldn't even be able to hold Young's jacket.
No, but it's
and we don't
no,
think Young's good enough to play.
No, in terms of that, it's different. But the process of what we are working, as Barry says, it's not working now.
No, I get it. I understand. No, I can get the process.
Mm-hmm.
The process was wrong, but see, when you look at the transfer market as a whole, like Mark speaks about it on the channel as well, about comparisons and this and that. Liverpool waited to the last day of the window to sign Alexander Isak, and they had to spend 125 million quid in doing it, mate. They tried to get Mark Guéhi on the last day of the window and failed to get him. They never got him. That deal failed. You look at, Newcastle. It's the all window they tried to get the lad Visa from Brentford, and they've ended up having to overspend by that and say, 55 million plus add-ons to get him in the door. I'm not saying Celtic haven't let people down. They have massively. We don't know, Ryan, in terms of what negotiations the Celtic hierarchy were doing, mate, and we don't know what. We understand that Casper Dolberg was a target. Now, Celtic ultimately failed to get that over the line. One way or another, they can look at that, and it's a shit show, right? Because they then wait till there's competition for the individual. And by that point, Ryan, his head's turned because he's already played for Ajax. So his head's gone by that point. Because before he knew of Ajax's interest, he's probably up for coming to Celtic and trying a different challenge. So yeah, but again, the SM Media, great comment. Do the board trust Rodgers with the money? I've spoke to people about this a number of times. I've just said to you that he left £26 million worth of talent on the bench against Kairat, mate, in the Champions League qualifier. Engels, Ida, and Trusty were all on that bench. So those are the big fees that went out last season. So are the board looking at that, and saying, well, hold on, there's been a bit of a backlash with the fan groups in terms of each individual. There's people on here that have absolutely slaughtered Adam Ida. And that's why he's, in my opinion, that's why he's away. So yeah, like I say, I understand it's the pulling the trigger, the timing of these investments, as Rodgers mentioned and stuff, that needs to be better for me. There's no getting away from that. But I think we also need to respect that we don't know, Ryan, in terms of what has actually went on. But ultimately, yeah, it's been a bit of a letdown for us all in terms of supporting the club, mate.
We don't know. We can get a gauge, but we don't know, obviously. But for me, the guy, some of the people in the boardroom and if it's a recruitment team, obviously questions will be asked the manager as well because he's a part of that. But until somebody comes out fully, and if it's Nicholson again, he's been a silent assassin. He's been quiet. He's all right. Come out and say about a first class club, and well, Michael, come out and tell us what's going on. Why did you let Kyle go? Why did you let Kuhn go and not replace him? Why did you let Ida go and not replace him? Why no help the manager get through a qualifier? He should have won, granted. But all we ask as a Celtic fan and a fan base is to be the best we can and not be stale. Don't sit in your laurels and think, do you know what? Them across the water, they'll be shit again next year. See, next year they'll be shit again. Eventually, it might be this year, next year, 2 years, 4. They're going to get it right, by the way. And when they get it right, they'll get it right. If they get a good manager, they will spend money. They spend money.
I tell you what, by the way, another manager's not making guys like Tavernier
any
better.
No, but
because many managers as they had up to now.
No, I get what you're saying there, but a good manager then brings a good recruitment in. He then brings.
I know what you're
He'll
saying.
get
No,
back. Do you know what I
listen,
mean?
I get it. I totally get it.
I just think this is just my perspective. This is what I see and what I feel. I just think they want to be ahead of Rangers, and if they get in Europe and they do
Yeah.
well, it's a bonus, right? And for me, that can't happen. I don't see any process. I don't, as William says, I agree with William. I don't see what the strategy is. I don't see
Scatter
what the
approach.
aye. It's just
Yeah.
right.
Eeny,
All
meeny,
right, you
miny, mo.
can't. Right, Dolberg. Right, who can we get now? Our friend is Black Book. He's wee Black Book. We'll go and get in a natural. If we can't get him, we'll maybe go and get somebody else. That was the way it looked with Casper as well, winning goals. We Black Book out. I'd maybe not get the money for a goalie. Maybe can't afford a top goalie. Who are we going to get? I'll go and get Casper, who, by the way, was, again, I genuinely believe this might be his last season here because that at the weekend, I know we've finished talking about the game, mate, a wee bit, things, as, like, as you just said there, mate.
Just when you mentioned about Casper there, I
Oh,
just remember in that situation. I remember your face happening the way it did, and aye,
it's criminal, mate. That's basic, by the way. But as you said there, William says there, Alan's mentioned that there's no strategy to this football club. And if there is, Michael, come out and tell us. Come out and tell
we
the
comment
fans
for Sheena there. I've
what's
got
going
to
on.
say, Christmas is coming quicker than that train that you think. Yeah, I'll tell you that right now. So don't get sucked into
mate,
that. Don't get tractor beam done there, Sheena. Whatever you do.
Definitely, there's things need to be changed. All we're asking is the best that we can be. The club not to be stale. The club always improving. I get what you're saying, right, about SM Media and Scott. Cheers, Scott. I get what
Cheers for the
Scott's
comment.
saying. I get what he's saying, right? But see, no matter who is managing a football club, this club has to move forward. Doesn't matter if
100%.
it's
No,
doesn't matter
100%.
it doesn't matter if it's Brendan, Damien Duff, John Kennedy, Jose Mourinho, Tony Docherty.
Anyway, you've mentioned two names
No,
there.
I
I
know,
think you'd have jumped into a
I
Bafford
know.
leagues level and think.
It doesn't matter if it's Areola, if Bournemouth, whoever the manager is at Celtic Football Club, the board cannot go, we get 30 million last year. Maybe they're no up to it. But they still helped you last year. They won you a double. They nearly knocked Bayern Munich out. We were kind of successful in the Champions League. So progress it. Don't think about just three individual players. As a collective, they added to the team and they made the club better than Europe last year. And Brendan Rodgers, we've said it on here, he was brought to this football club and he's brought himself to this football club to make Celtic better than Europe. And I'm not going to lie, by the way, see the other day, see if he did decide to go, lads, sorry, I'm off. I would not blame him. I would not blame him because some of the things that are going to cover now, yes, he could be a part of bits and bobs we don't know about, but it's got to improve, mate. If it's Dermot Desmond and the other major shareholders, whoever's and other guys, they've got to sit down together and go, listen, what do we need to do here? As Peter, as a non-executive, can he do it anymore? Michael, CEO, no. To me, the sporting director in now. It's Chris Mackay. Did he joke properly?
Could help. I think you're into something there, mate. I think that could help. I think I had a chat with somebody about this the other day, and I actually think the sporting director could be an avenue that Celtic,
I think
maybe
so.
even after this season,
modernise, move with the times.
Yeah, I think so. I think that could be an avenue that the club could look to go down, and I think if it's going to be Brendan Rodgers, if it's going to be someone else, then I think it needs to be someone that can come in and...
Don't say John Kennedy.
No, that's how I said someone else. That's how I said somebody else. I think that could be somebody, the club could look at, and certainly an avenue we could... Sheena, that wasn't very good the first time you says that, pal. We tried to just kind of scam by that one, and it's certainly not getting any better than the next one that you've used. So,
Joe, don't say that either, mate. Come on, kiddie. No him either. Oh, him either.
They're obviously doing something right, Sheena, if they're sitting pretty at the top of the table, pal. But we'll leave that one to the champs.
Aye, get Dom Mackay back. What's Dom doing?
There we go. So again, I was asked this the other day, JP, what happened to Don Mackay? I said, I don't know. The last time I seen him, he was getting on the train.
Oh, we don't know, do we?
We don't know. This is the thing. We don't know what happened there. And, he came into the fan media. He was sitting there. He was chatting with people. He was. That was a kind of right fresh. We were all giving it. Oh, here we go. Remember that? That was a kind of right fresh approach.
Was it because he was coming in and trying to do things that they didn't like, and he went, right, sorry, Dom.
Well,
but
again, that's something I spoke to my dad about. My dad says, JP, do you think a lot of the older heads that have been together in there that maybe are a bit more cliquier than, you know, what he was?
Possibly.
They obviously didn't like that. What was the old guy's name that retired? He was a Celtic chairman.
Ian Bankier.
Ian Bankier, and I couldn't remember his name, so forgive me for that. Apologies. But, yeah, I'm just wondering now, you know, were they all on kind of hoots with one another, and didn't they like maybe the approach that Dom had? Because when he came in, it was, you know, it was, yeah, I think so, Kevin. I think that's what it was, and I think this is my personal view, right? Now, I've sat on here and I've tried to be an advocate for Celtic's board and the way they run the club, and I think it's remarkable and everything else. But I'm going to be honest, in that certain circumstance, Kevin, as you put it in there, Dom was forward thinking. I think the rest of them couldn't keep pace with him, Ryan. I'm being honest with you. I just think he was too modern for them. And they maybe started creating a bad vibe for Dom to work in behind the scenes. And ultimately, that's why, you know, there was a statement released about it being personal circumstances rather than anything else. When it wasn't, it was probably, you know, he might have been actually forced out the door. I don't know. But we need somebody like that again, somebody that kind of level-headed to come in and actually say, no, hold on a minute. We need to do this now and we need to move it. I'm not saying come in and start spending hundreds of millions of pounds. That's not what I mean. But what I'm saying is come in and start. That, I mean, that's what the fan media was set up for, Ryan. Why the hell is one of them not coming in and chatting with you guys every 2 weeks or something and saying, how you doing, guys? How you doing? Just to give you a wee update. This is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. They don't need to tell us every single detail. That's not what I'm looking for either. But give us an incline and, you know, give us just say for talking to you get into a transfer window, give us a plan. Give us something that you're looking to do. See if it was at the start of the window and they're saying, we've got some targets and they're kind of higher a bracket than basically what I think a lot of Celtic fans, including myself, including you, would have sat and went, all right, okay, right, that's interesting. We'll see where we go there. Mate, it's the fact that we've heard Nanty. Nothing. There's been nothing. And even after this is all shut down and, you know, there's nothing. And now what's going to transpire from it is a severe protest against it because they've brought this on themselves. They can't say anything but. So I think, personally, they need to do something in terms of coming forward and, you know, and actually saying something. I know they're not going to be able to tell us things. I know there'll be certain legalities and something and stuff that they'll not be able to tell us everything, which is fine. But we're not looking for it to be told everything. We're looking to be told, you know, why was the manager not back properly, and what was the reason? Is it because Rodgers is non-committal? Is it because he's not committed up until now? He's no said that, you know, I'm staying, or he's maybe hummed and hawed about that. Have they maybe said to him, well, do you know what, if you're non-committal, then we're not really going to be that committed for you? And as it went down that, because there's clear disconnect somewhere. Yeah, I think that's a big thing as well, Francis. But there's a clear disconnect somewhere, Ryan, throughout the club, mate, and it's rife.
You see, in terms of the communication, man, it's non-existent, mate. Like you say, a wee update to the fans every so often would it go amiss?
The fan media, personally, for me, Ryan, that's what that was set up for. I don't understand why that.
But see, the thing is, obviously we're no one the pressers and stuff like that just yet. Hope for a few years we can do that, but they don't want you to ask certain questions. If you question the board or you say things that maybe don't go in line with what they think, you could be banned. You can be told no to go. But all you're doing is asking questions. You want to know what's going on at the club. As William says there, the club's chaos. Behind the scenes, it looks chaos now. There's no strategy. There's silence. Your CEO's not going to tell you what's going on. One of your major shareholders is away playing golf with Rory McIlroy. No caring about the club. That's the way it looks. I'm not saying he doesn't care, but this is how it looks. After one of the worst windows we've had in years, one of the worst results in years, and he's away playing golf. Just like, it's fine. I'll let Peter and Chris and Michael, let them deal with it. I'll let Tom Allison deal with Sharon Brown. They can not deal with it. I'll just go and play golf. I seen a comment as well a few days ago on Twitter. I don't think it was Hugh Keevans that says it actually on the Super Scoreboard about Desmond. Desmond's hardly put a pen in to sell it for years, Hugh. Don't kid yourself on. None of them have. That is because they've set the business up to be the way it is, which is brilliant. But they've not put money into the club for years. Celtics have made money because they've been successful
it's
on the
self-sustainable
park.
because of what they've done, yeah.
And see what you're saying there about Rodgers not being committal. But you've still got this season to go. So they still need to strengthen.
Yeah, I know, but is that maybe a factor as in what I know it's wrong, but is that a factor in what they've thought hierarchy?
It could be, mate. It could be, right. But like you've just said there, then for me, they're thinking that right away is thinking wrong. So do you know what? We'll not back in this year. We'll spend money on a new manager next year. We'll keep him money and hope that we win the league this year. And then we'll try and maybe, if we don't win it this year, don't worry, we'll get a manager next year, we'll get money, and we'll win it again next year. You can't. That's the way on your business, man. It's bonkers. They've actually, I still think we've got a good team here, right, in terms of some of the players, right? We're missing a top door striker, right? We are, right? Unless a natural.
Do you think Aniacho's that guy? Do you think he could provide that? What he's done in his CV?
He's got to sprout wings, I think, mate, to do that. But
in terms of sprouting wings, what do you mean? Like, he's got to come up here and bang in about 100 goals? Is that what you mean? Or like 25 goals, 30 goals?
Oh, he's got. If you're Celtics, one of your Celtics main strikers, you need 20 goals, mate, minimum.
Is he better than Adam Eder? Is he a better player than Adam Eder?
I've not seen him in years, mate, so I can't comment. I generally can't. I've not seen in an actual play.
Does anybody think that Aniacho is a better player than Adam Eder?
I've not seen him since his Leicester days, and he was all right at Leicester. No scoring a lot of goals, but his all-round play was okay. So, but it doesn't matter who the manager is next year. You need to strengthen now. And you need to make sure that the clubs, you can't just go, do you know what? I generally believe that we have potentially, there's always going to be Celtic Rangers, right? Hearts, obviously, maybe a few years might come in, it depends on how their recruitment goes, right? But it's always us in name and now, right? I know this know how football works, but realistically, with the manager we've had and some of the players and the chances to sign bigger players in the Champions League, Rangers shouldn't be near us right now. They shouldn't be. Maybe this year because of the money they've spent.
6 points behind us, mate.
No, but I mean, like they shouldn't be. This is my opinion, though. If our club was ran the way that we should be, recruitment wise, and everything else, I know last year we nearly 17 points, but let's be fair. If they start beating the teams that they should be beating, it will come closer. And I think the board they've let them get a squeak this year now, when they should never squeak. They shouldn't, because what we done last year, and if you strengthened that team for last year and made it better, no matter what they've done this year, I don't think they've signed some good players, by the way. Like Miovski, I don't know, do much there. The boy, like you says, the wee boy Phil, might not do much. They're both players, to come in and maybe help them. They might not be brilliant as it stands, but at least, but they're through the kitchen sinking at JP. Therefore, do you know what? We're going to try and get Celtic.
I'll tell you what, by the way, the pressure's on them to win the league.
No,
and I want the narrative spun
but
right
I'll tell you what, see if we don't win the league,
he can't deal with pressure.
Listen, I'm called I win the league, right? But see if we don't, there'll be more than sharks, mate, at Celtic Park. I'm telling you, if we do not win this league, it's on the manager's CV again. Get beat for Carrot, and that's another thing on his CV. And there's not a chance in hell that the shareholders and the board member can survive.
Again, that's for a different podcast and a different chat altogether. But James McKeon, he says Sevilla cancelled his contract. That's an objective measure. Well, it isn't really, because ultimately Sevilla cancelled his contract because I think Celtic initially approached for a loan deal, and Sevilla had extended their loan deals for that window. So I think there was a mutual agreement with the player to move on and obviously try a new challenge elsewhere because it just wasn't going to be at Sevilla. That doesn't mean he's a bad player. So there's nothing really to go on in that, in my opinion. I'm looking at his CV and, he's got quite a decent CV. He has a kind of ready-made item as well when you look at that as well. For me, if he can get back to his Premier League form, then I think that we've got a better player than Adam Eder on our hands. All round as a number 9, in my opinion. But yeah, he did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying about earlier on. But obviously, we've came to the end of our wee chat tonight, Ryan. Thanks again, mate, for joining us, mate, and taking the time to have a wee therapy session on a Wednesday night, mate.
I think it's therapy till the first league game, I think, mate. Every podcast will be like that. But no, it's always good to come on, mate. And obviously, ideally, you want to come on and talk about better things and how the club's doing well. And
it's going to be interesting on Friday, isn't it, when Scotland take on Denmark, and then you see Kieran Tierney close line on Casper at a corner. And then McGolley's going to be injured, and then we need to play Ross Doohan.
Tell you another thing, by the way, see if he plays 90 minutes. Kieran, what's going on? I don't think he will, to be fair.
I don't think he will either. I don't think he will either. But he can play 90 minutes if he's left centre back. He can't do it left back.
Left back guy.
At least he can get, he's when it gets to 70 minutes, he can get a second win. We'll need to swap in the mid-scales during the game now. We'll do that once we go to Belgrade.
But no, it's been good, mate. Like I say, it's always good to come on. Listen, like I said to Daniel all night, ideally you want to come on and be positive all the time, but you need to talk about the good things. You come on about it, you need to face up, and it's giving the viewers a point of view as well, because obviously
100%, and it's obviously good to get the fans' point of view on everything that's going on, because ultimately they don't get to say, certainly at the club anyway, they don't get to tell the club how they're feeling, so it's good to. By that point, there'll be nobody protesting. That's my ploy is. I'm trying to get everybody's feelings out the now, so that already angered this. I know it's not going to happen. Listen, I think they're only saving grace as slightly that the next home game's not until towards the end of September. But thanks to you guys who have tuned in across the platforms. As we just said there, it is always good to get your opinions and good to hear what you are thinking. It was good to see a comment from somebody earlier saying that I was trying to protect the board and look out for the board. I certainly wasn't. I was just trying to, I always try to look at things with an open mind, Ryan. I always try to, look at certain situations. And this situation, it's just arisen. I'm afraid there's no defending that. So I need to, I've felt let down. I'm angry. I was angry at the Kairat situation. That was a big kick right in Niagara Falls. That man, I never seen that coming, mate. I really didn't. And that's what I'm saying about the team. The team let themselves down, in my opinion. The manager let themselves down. That was an ultimate failure there for both. Much as a board, they've got all their failings as well in this transfer window and during the process. Oh, was it plunge again, Ange? Was it? That's not like him. He's always got something to say about me. I think he loves me that much. But he was telling us earlier there's actually 2 plunges on here now talking about us. So, that's good. I'm expecting 2 of them to be sitting at Celtic Park the next time I'm there, Ryan. I'll be looking for the 2 of them. Plunger 1 and plunger 2. The 2 of them eat cold beans at the same time. It's not bad. The stains on their cardigans. Tremendous. But no, GG, I've not called them there, cheerleader, mate. Who do you think I'm be, Derek, for Go Radio? Come on now.
Let me speak, Derek. Let me speak.
Don't call me a cheerleader. But listen, I've tried to back and nobody, Bradley, nobody's happy clapping. Nobody. I've backed Celtic. I've backed the board in previous seasons. I can't back them in this transfer window. I can't back their methods and the way that they've went about this transfer window. Certainly not. So yeah, I disappointed bitterly, and I've got to say I've come off my wee protest at Ryan as I've come off the cup ticket scheme as well. So I'm not taking up my Europa League package. I'm scunnered by it, mate, and I've done enough. I've done enough over the years, mate, and I think it's time now to just go to I'll go to the league games, no problem, but I'm not doing any more. I think over and above, especially now what you're having to pay for season books, mate, and I've got a family and everything else personally, it's not for me anymore, mate. Sorry. And by the way, that would have happened even if we got to the Champions League, but I'm at a point to that now that it's now time to rein it in a wee bit here and try and I don't even know how much of Europa. By the way, that's another one. We'll need to do another podcast about that as well. The prices for this Europa League. By the way, they better be a tenner a ticket, man. The way things are going.
They'll try and sweep the deal and get you for like 30 quid or something a game. Know what I mean? Wouldn't they try and sweeten the deal?
They'll need to do something. They'll need to do something, man. Because they better have it a tenner a ticket or something. That's it, mate. There's not enough. They've stopped paying me money to come on here now, so that's it, mate. There's not enough.
Rab,
we've had to invest in Big Alan doing his scratch cards up Mary Hill.
Rab, if you decide to join the Half 10 show, then JP might get his season money back. I'm losing out on that as well.
Anyway, that's probably why I've lost it, because I unsubscribed to his Half 10 show. I've had enough of him in fishnet tights, man. It's murder.
Well, actually, him Scales out the cupboard now. He's done well at the weekend. So
he has. No, he did well. He did well on Sunday. To be fair, defensively he was colossal. So 100%. But thanks very much, guys. Live tomorrow, Ryan, again. Yeah, tomorrow night.
Yeah, be live tomorrow night.
Mark was in the chat earlier. Mark O'Neill. He'll be joining us tomorrow, I believe. Ryan, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be live tomorrow night, 8:00. Back for more therapy. I'll be coming in with a different script tomorrow with something completely different. We'll be talking about Kieran Tierney playing 90 minutes for Scotland on Friday when he clotheslines Casper Schmeichel at a corner probably, and Casper can't play the rest of the season because he's got a big bandage on his head like Peter Cech. I just can't get that joke that came out about Peter Cech as well. That came into my head there. I know the one about the vein. That was tremendous. With the baby. But yeah. So tomorrow night, 8:00, folks. I'm letting you know just now, Anjem, if you're still in the comments. You don't need to look on social media. You'll know that we're live. It will get put on social media for anyone. We might do that tomorrow, Rob. Might do a bit of clapping for you tomorrow, big man. If you've missed a bit tonight. So so that's it. It's 8:00 tomorrow. Does Ryan do OnlyFans? Oh dear. Yeah, I think Ryan's. I think Ryan tips his hat towards what he can to get some decent income nowadays. But I think Ryan's actually frozen here as we go. But everybody take care, hail, and we will see you all again tomorrow night on the channel at 8 p.m. Bye-bye.
Up Larsson here. Larsson. Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! O'Reilly. How about that for a pass? Jota! How about that for a finish? That is Jota for you! In for Henrik Larsson. And Moravcik! His first goal for Celtic! Here is Shunsuke Nakamura!